People ask me, how do you stay fit as you age? By training smarter, not harder. I invest in my health, I invest in my future, and I show up for myself and for the people I love, for more good years, for more moments that matter. Welcome to the Live Leaner podcast. Hello friends, welcome to Live Leaner, where we help busy executives take control of their health and longevity with simple actionable strategies that fit your demanding life. Have you ever forced yourself to wake up at 5 a.m. just because you thought that's what successful people do? If you have, you're not alone. I've done that too. And honestly, it was a disaster. I was feeling tired, groggy, dizzy. I had to take a nap later in the day. So it's definitely something that wasn't my cup of tea. And then I understood that it has nothing to do with being a hardworking person or not, but it's more so ingrained in our genes. It has more to do with our biology. And we'll dive into that today. So back in 2020, when I was starting to build my business, I used to work very long hours, be it 16, 18-hour days. It was really intense. And we didn't have much of an alternative because I got laid off from my previous job as a corporate wellness coach, and I really had to find a way to make an income. My wife was pregnant and COVID was there. I needed to do it. There was no plan B. So I was forcing myself to wake up very, very early in the morning, and I was feeling very frustrated because that made me somehow miserable and tired during the rest of the day. So when my daughter was born, I was not being able to truly be present because I was resenting everything. I was just not in the right place mentally, emotionally, and even physically. Then I understood more about chronotypes and circadian rhythms. And the more I understood about the science behind this, the better I felt. And that's when I started to craft a routine that was truly in line with my genetics, with my lifestyle. And it truly is a miracle that it keeps working for me, and I never looked back. So let's dive in. Let's start by defining two key concepts. One, circadian rhythm. Two, chronotype. Circadian rhythm is your 24-hour biological body clock. Dictates things such as body temperature, sleep, the release of hormones. And when we look at chronotype, I see this as you being a morning person, an evening person, somewhere in between, is where you sit in that circadian rhythm. And this is deeply ingrained in your genetics. So you don't have a great degree of maneuver when it comes to choosing your chronotype. It's a given. You can, according to studies, by manipulating temperature, light, habits, change it anywhere between 1 and 2 hours. However, in my experience, it's more optimal to perhaps work with your chronotype instead of against it and just find that time that works for you, that is going to give you the best bang for your buck. Think of this as having a watch that it works perfectly fine, but it doesn't give you the right time. So it's just out of sync. It's not that the watch is not working. It's just that you need to adjust it, right? So I see this as exactly the same way. And when I look at how society perceives non-morning people or night owls, it's almost unfair because it's almost like society is built for morning people. And just to put things into perspective, having a night owl waking up at 5 a.m. is the same as having a morning person staying awake until 1 a.m. and expect that person not to be tired, to be productive, and to be in a good mood. Studies show that night owls, for instance, have different patterns of melatonin release or body temperature regulation when compared to morning people. And when we look at this from an evolutionary perspective, it makes sense. We have different chronotypes for safety reasons, for survivability, and to be protected against external threats. And digging a little bit deeper into the science, your circadian rhythm is influenced by light and darkness. For morning people, melatonin, the hormone that is responsible for making you fall asleep, drops earlier in the evening, allowing them to wake up refreshed. On the other hand, for night owls, that peak occurs later, allowing them or forcing them to wake up in a lesser state of awareness, productivity, and even in a worse mood. This mismatch is what scientists call social jet lag, which is the mismatch between your chronotype and external societal demands, like early working hours or school schedules. So for night owls, this feeling of grogginess or tiredness in the morning is not laziness, it's biology. Now let's dive into how to fix it, or how to find a solution, how to find a framework, a plan that works for you. The first thing that we must understand is what is our chronotype, right? And that we can find out through different sleep tests that you can find online. And these are so-called chronotype tests. However, the best, in my opinion, is to experience, is through trial and error, is to understand. If no one would wake you up, if you could sleep at any time and wake up at any time, when would those times be? Keep a log for over a week and you will get to understand some patterns. You can then contrast that with the chronotype experiment or study that you would have done online, and you can get more clarity on that. The second thing that we can do once we get this understanding is sort of try to align and manipulate our day, when possible, according to that. So for instance, if you are a morning person, just schedule those most important tasks and that workload earlier in the day. And if you're a night owl, do that later in the evening. This will allow you to match your daily demands with your chronotype. The third thing that I would do is to optimize the environment. Modern life has dramatically shifted our exposure to light, creating much more shallower peaks in our circadian rhythm when we compare this with our ancestors. Historically, we were always guided by the light. We knew when it was time to sleep because the light decreased, and we knew when it was time to wake up because of the sunrise. Nowadays, we are exposed constantly to similar patterns of artificial light, which makes it more difficult for our body to basically understand these patterns. That's why we have to play with our body and nudge the environment so we can get cues that signal when it's time to wake up and when it's time to sleep. And this results in us feeling normally more tired and groggy even after a full night's sleep. The fourth element of this framework would be respecting the timing of sleep. So trying to establish a regular pattern of going to bed and waking up. If you ask any sleep scientist, I'm pretty sure that the first thing that they are going to recommend for you is to consolidate a sleep schedule. Your body likes predictability, so try to wake up and go to bed at the same time, even during weekends. This is very important. And on top of that, I recommend you to follow the 3-2-1 routine. And I'm going to explain that to you right now. 3 hours before is when you're going to have your last meal. Your body needs to get ready to rest, not to digest. We want to avoid any sort of digestion issues, acid reflux, and all that stuff. 2 hours before, you're going to dim the lights of your room to start nudging your body that it's time to go to sleep. So we are playing again with the hormones, with the temperature, with the light, with the atmosphere to make you sleep better. And 1 hour before, and this is critical, I like to set up a reverse alarm. I genuinely believe that you will not need a morning alarm if you set a reverse alarm. The reverse alarm prompts you to stop contact with any electronic device, mobile phone, work-related matters, and is going to allow you to do anything of your choice that will relax you, be it a warm shower, a warm bath, reading, stretching. This is critical. Blue lights from your mobile devices impair the sleep hormone melatonin by 20 to 30%. So you're just constantly delaying that onset of the hormone that is going to help you to sleep. I personally enjoy taking a warm shower because this helps me release heat from my body and helps me drop my brain and core temperature by 1 degree Celsius, which is crucial for you to be able to fall asleep. And we will dive deeper into this topic in the next episode. So, TLDR of the episode, your circadian rhythm and your chronotypes, they are not flaws. They're just part of who you are. So it's best for you to understand them so you can play with them and not against them. Like resetting a watch is just about finding the time that works best for you. I hope this episode was insightful. I look forward to hearing your comments in the section below. And what is your chronotype? What do you struggle with the most? Let me know. Also, I hope to see you in the next episode where we are going to uncover a topic called revenge bedtime procrastination, which essentially means delaying sleep at the expense of leisure, and something that a lot of people struggle with, including myself at times. Having said that, I look forward to the next episode and I'll see you soon.